Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. My name is Taya Brown, and I am the coordinator here at the Temple Small Business Development Center. The Temple SBDC helps small businesses start, grow, and succeed. We do this through our no-cost consulting, webinars, and training programs. We are proud to be a part of a nationally accredited network of 1,000 SBDCs across the United States. You have joined us today for Marketing on a Budget. A copy of today's slide deck and recording will automatically be sent to all attendees within the next 2 business days. All attendees have been muted. We do encourage you to post any questions that you may have in the Q&A and chat box. Now I will turn over the floor to Gab Sacidor.
Thank you much, Taya. Good morning, everyone. My name is Gab. I'm a marketing consultant here at the Temple Small Business Development Center. Today's topic is marketing on a budget. The goal for today is really to equip you with the knowledge and the tools to optimize your marketing efforts for your business on a budget. So we're going to go through some tools, talk about some tips to really optimize your marketing across all channels. First, I just want to share a little bit more about the Temple SBDC. We serve Philadelphia and Montgomery counties. As Taya had mentioned, this is a nationwide network, so there's a small business development center for every zip code. Our mission is to help small businesses start and grow. We are funded by the U.S. Small Business Administration, the Department of Community and Economic Development, as well as Temple University's Fox School of Business. And because of that funding, we're able to provide no-cost services for small businesses at every stage. We provide confidential, no-cost business consulting. So if you would like to learn more or to sign up, you can follow the QR code on the screen to our website to learn more about that. You can meet with a consultant in person or virtually to talk about anything that you would like to work on for your business, whether it's crafting a business plan, marketing, strategic growth, financing, government contracting, and many more items that we're able to support your business with. Also, because of the funding, we're able to offer no-cost resources like the webinar today. We have weekly webinars on a variety of topics. Our fall schedule is posted on our website if you follow the QR code, and you can really see a lot of the different topics that we're going to share. In addition, we do offer some training programs that do have a fee attached just because of instructor time and materials. So coming up this fall, we have a Bright Business Planning course. You're able to earn your business planning certificate in a 6-week virtual program that starts September 28th. And for anyone who's in the construction industry, you can also earn your construction management certificate. That program is 9 months. Majority of the classes are in person on Saturdays. There's a few virtual classes. That begins October 11th with the graduation in June. So again, if any of these items are of interest to you, check out our website for more information. So before we get into the specific marketing tools, just want to take some time just to review what marketing is for your small business and really take care of that strategy. So that way we can utilize the different tools and tips that we're going to talk about today to really make it specific for your business. So there's some bit of research and some bit of planning that you want to do before utilizing the different tools. So when you're thinking of marketing, it's how you show people that what you offer, why it matters, and how it fits their life. So you really want to think about marketing as starting a conversation with people who need what you have to offer. And through your marketing efforts, you're telling your story, you're reaching your ideal audience, and you're creating value and relationships. You really want to be intentional with your marketing, which is why this part of your planning is so important because for small businesses, marketing is an investment, not just financially, but also with your time, focus, and energy. So we really want to optimize all of our efforts and make sure that any post you're sharing, email you're sending, dollar you're investing has a purpose tied to your overall marketing goals. So when you think about marketing, you can really think about it as everything that touches your customer. So it can be your social media, your branding, your website, emails you send, content you produce, your customer service. So you really want to make sure that, again, everything is aligning to your overall brand message, it's reaching your ideal customers, and it's showing that value that you're providing. So when you're first starting with deciding, okay, which tools am I going to utilize for my small business? You want to start with your ideal customer. And you want to be as specific as possible. As a small business, we would love everyone to be our customers, but we can't market to everyone. So we really want to get very specific here. So for your ideal customer, think about what's their age, what's their lifestyle, where do they live, where do they work? And most importantly, what keeps them up at night? What's the problem that your customer has that your small business is solving? This is very important. Just as an example, I'm just going to share this as we keep in mind and go through the rest of this deck. So if you were a coffee shop this morning, you might have three different customers. One might have placed a mobile order on an app. They went right through the drive-through. They don't even want to hit the brake. They just want to grab their coffee, be on their way, right? They're a busy morning commuter. You might also have a freelance professional that comes in a couple times a week. They're really looking for that high-speed internet connection, a location within your coffee shop where they can spend time, take a Zoom call, maybe attend today's webinar. So they're looking for something a little bit different than that busy morning commuter. You might also have customers of a coffee shop who are recently retired. They go there once a week to meet with colleagues or family members. They're looking for a comfortable spot to have a conversation and spend some time. So when you think about these individual customers, you're thinking about what problems are you solving for them? And then next, you're going to think about what channels are they using? How did they find your business? And it's likely different when it comes to each individual customer. So think about it for your small business. Who are your customers? If you're new and you're a startup, talk to some friends, family in your network. Who would be that ideal customer? And really get as specific as you can. Next, you also want to spend some time on your unique value proposition, your UVP. What is your special sauce that makes you better, that makes you unique when it comes to your competitors? Who are you helping? Again, your ideal customers. And what do you have to offer that's solving your problems? And you really want to spend some time on this because this is what you're going to use as your messaging when you're connecting with those ideal audiences. It's more than just like a slogan. It's the core reason your customer chooses you. And then you're going to take that and you're going to come up with clear messages through the right channels. Okay. So you're focusing your message on the benefits you're bringing to your customers, how you're solving your customer's problem. How many times I struggle with it. Today, it's Wednesday. I haven't posted on social media yet this week. What am I even going to share? What am I going to write? I need to write a blog this week. I need to send an email to my customers. Go back to this and think about your specific customers, the benefits you're bringing. How does your product or service benefit them? That's going to help when you're creating your messaging and you're choosing the channels. Also, as we get into the tools, you don't have to be across every platform for your small business. Again, think about those three customer examples I shared. Think about your customers. How are they finding your business? They're likely on different social media channels. If a customer is using, a mobile app to place a mobile order, that might be different from another customer you have. So you want to think about what social media are they on? Are they following? Are they subscribed to my newsletter? What do they check? Are they on Facebook? You want to really think about what channels you can really reach those ideal customers at. So now we can get into the specific tools that you can utilize for your small business. And if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. So why marketing matters. 81% of consumers are researching online before they're buying. So just think about your daily habits. If you're looking for a new product or service, you're likely going to search about it online. And what are you going to do? Think about what are you searching? How do you craft that question, right? hair salons in Montgomery County. Think about what you're searching when you need something. Think about where you look. Also, think about how important that is for your small business. It's building that visibility, the credibility, and can really help your business grow. So, if they're researching online, you want to make sure that your business is appearing there and that they can find you. So, let's talk about some tools to make that happen. So first, one that is no cost. Also want to share, I might have to take this time as I go through the slides, that the SBDC is not endorsing any product or service mentioned. We're just sharing information. We encourage all small business owners to do their research. And if you need any assistance with that, you can always reach out to us. So here's just one that's available, is your Google business profile. It's free for local small businesses. It's where you can claim your page and your address. This is great if you believe your customers are searching online to find you. You can place your phone number, address, you can share updates, you can put your service hours, you can put a lot of information there. Now, if you already are existing and you say, I have my Google business profile, let's talk about optimizing it and maximizing it. Do you update it weekly? Are you sharing high quality photos on here? This is all helping Google, again, suggest and pull up your business when customers are searching for you. Again, if you're searching hair salons, Montgomery County, we want to make sure if you're a salon owner that your business is appearing on that first page. Research indicates users usually don't go through that second, third page after a search. So you want to make sure that you're appearing on that first page. So this can also, like I had said, help with your local search rankings. A little bit later, we're going to talk about SEO and finding your business. You want to make sure that in here that you're also encouraging reviews. See those 5 stars that this example's showing? If you don't have any reviews yet, this is a great goal to set for September. Reach out to your customers, ask family and friends to put those reviews there. People are looking at that. I always search that when I'm looking at businesses. I read what the reviews have to say. So encourage that. The importance of testimonials will go throughout this deck as well. You really want your customers interacting and sharing their experiences with your business. So this is a really great way, free, to help with your online search. Also, think about, especially if you're a business, maybe HVAC, roofing, something where sometimes your customers are reaching out in an emergency. You want to put in here that maybe you're open on weekends, that you answer, even if it's an answering service 24/7, right? Because sometimes when a customer needs you in an emergency, maybe they're not going to take as much time to really go through it. They want someone who's going to answer that phone call in that time. So again, think about your customers. What are they searching for? What are they looking at you for? And you can really utilize this tool as you move forward. Now, staying on online presence and visibility, depending on where you're at with your small business, you can consider building a website. You can think of it as your digital storefront. It's open 24/7. You can take appointments, you can sell products, you can, have visitors checking out your business 24/7, around the clock, even outside of your office hours. Websites do help build credibility and trust. So if a customer is potentially looking for your business, they're going to see, do you have a website? What information's on there? They're also going to look at social media, which we'll get to in a minute. But this is a great way to really showcase your products and services, increase your visibility in local searches. So again, when someone's searching for HVAC companies in Philadelphia, that you're going to appear there. And it also allows customers, a direct line to contact you. Now, there's a couple different options when it comes to building your website. Here are a few examples of some builders. There's many out there. This is not an all-inclusive list. It's not an endorsement. always recommended to do your own research, just sharing a few examples that have beginner-friendly platforms at reasonable rates, or even free plans available, whether it's a couple months or with a free option where there's not a lot of many tools or templates, but just things to think about if you're considering building your website. The good part is if you build your own website is that you own it. Of course, there's other options to work with other digital professionals. If you're going to go that route, always just encourage, have the conversation with them. Who owns your website? Do they own it or are you going to own it? Just always want to be clear on that. But if you decide, okay, I'm going to build my own website for my small business, here's just a couple options. Again, do your research, go through the demos, ask about the pricing, really think about, are you going to be hands-on operating it? Is someone on your team, family, friend member going to be able to do that for you? Do as much research as you can. But just wanted to share that it is an option. I also want to get into if you are a small business and you already have a website. Okay, how can we optimize it and get the most out of it? You're making an investment to have that website live. So I want to talk about some things going on here. The next two slides are a bit technical. Go to our YouTube page because we have additional videos that really go into depth on this. There's a lot of research out there. And this is really constantly evolving, especially right now with AI. So I'm going to start with SEO. Okay, what is that? Search engine optimization and why it matters. SEO is when a customer searches for, again, coffee shop in Philadelphia, hair salon in Horsham. They're searching for a business or a product or a service, and the SEO is helping your business show up when people search locally or looking for your service. So if you have a website, let's make your SEO as optimized as possible. Let's use keywords strategically so that way customers can find you. As I mentioned, not to research indicates people don't really scroll past that first page after they search a question. And Google and Bing and all of those search engines, when they're populating the businesses, they're looking for recent relevant content to your website. So think about, how often do I update my website? Have I really looked at, SEO? It's really not something that's too difficult for you if you're running your website yourself. Again, if someone else is managing it, it's a conversation to have as a small business. So what can you do? So you want to think about keywords, okay? What are people searching? Just like I said, roofing contractor, Philadelphia. Maybe even get more specific. Roofing contractor, East Passyunk. You can go as specific as possible. Think about, you want to combine two things, your industry and kind of all the variations off it, hair salon, hair studio. Think about your small business and how that might apply, as well as location. You want to be as specific as possible. A lot of small businesses I work with, I go to their website, I don't see where they serve. Is it Philadelphia? It could be anywhere in the world. You want to make sure on your website that you're really emphasizing the local service. So think about, what areas do you service, zip codes, specific townships, counties, all the way down to, for example, Philadelphia has many neighborhoods. If you really, find your customers are based in specific areas, you want to have those keywords within your website. One thing you can do is in your headings on your website, in the meta descriptions in the back end on your website, these are places where you can use those keywords strategically. Again, thinking, what are customers searching to find me? Let's go with those to help with the search. If you have blog capabilities on your website, this is another great way to utilize the keyword strategically. It's also something that you're continuously updating. We're coming up to the fall and winter time. Think about, what are some, 5 tips for preparing for fall, however that may apply for your business. Can't believe I'm going to say it. but Small Business Saturday and the shopping season's ahead. Maybe start thinking about things that people are going to search for that, if that applies for your company. Think about different blog ideas and ways you can use those keywords within there. Again, it helps with all of that search. So think about your customer. Are they going to search something so technical like bespoke artisan florals, or are they going to search wedding flowers in Philadelphia? Okay. You want to think like a customer. You can use Google tools like Google Keywords. There's also other options online that you can use. But start thinking about that on how to really maximize your website. You're making the investment. Let's use it to the best of your abilities. Also think about for here, just want to make a note, in addition to the blogs, a lot of emphasis on backlinks. What's that? Those are links from other websites that are going to yours. That's helping the credibility of your website if another one's linking to you. So say you were featured on a local news channel or a local article and it's linking to your website, that's a backlink. If you're a member of, say, a business improvement district, a business association, a chamber of commerce, where there's a business directory, they likely are linking to your site. If they're not, ask if they can. That's a great way to, again, boost your SEO because you're having this website linking to yours. Again, boosting the trust and credibility on that. So that's also something that you can do. It's free. Just think about, any places, organizations, coverage, different locations where other websites can link to you. It's going to help your SEO. I did say this part was going to be a little bit technical. I would be remiss if I didn't mention also what's happening with AI. Taking a pause. This is not me suggesting to use AI tools to create content. This is just sharing how customers, consumers are utilizing AI tools to search and find businesses. Okay. And a lot's happening. We are going to have a great webinar coming up in early October about Intro to AI for small businesses. Encourage you to check that out. There's also a lot of research. This is constantly evolving, but I just want to share that it's happening in marketing. So that way, again, you're empowered, you're informed about what's happening, and you can make the best decisions for your business. Okay. So as you can see, probably on your social media, any search engines you're using, you're seeing this AI mode. It's again utilizing AI and it's searching to provide the answer for the user. We're also seeing that customers are asking a little bit more in-depth questions when they're using the AI tool. So instead of, I'll use that example again, coffee shop in Philadelphia, they might be searching coffee shop within walking distance, offering a special this week, name 5. Okay, see how that question is a little bit more in depth than maybe the general search. If you're using AI tools right now, think about, how are the questions you're asking in AI differing from maybe when you're doing a general search? Again, there's a lot of research. I'm just like mentioning it, but please inform yourself and do your research on it. So going back to consumers using AI tools, they you can format your website if you want your business to be appearing in those searches now. You want AI tools to understand, summarize, and feature your content when people search, if you choose to do that. Now, any of these suggestions or tips I'm offering today, it's only going to help your website and help the user experience for your customer. So again, as I said, those questions that consumers are asking are a little bit more in depth. So you want to think about what content can you put on that's going to appear. Again, using that plain language, um, answering questions very easily. If you utilize AI, it really likes structured content. So thinking in numbered steps, right? If you were a home cleaning service, you could put a blog and say, how to clean your home in 5 easy steps. Something like that. Very like structured content. It's also looking for testimonials and case stories. Now we went back to to Google, the Google reviews. Testimonials, no matter what you're using it for in marketing, is priceless, and you want to use those. So if you can, reach out to your customers. If you have the option on your website to add testimonials, it's a great thing, not just for the customer who's researching your company and seeing, okay, there's other, clients that have had positive things to say, but it's also helping with the search. Again, it's providing that credibility to your site that, okay, you're in business, you have happy customers. Also using, again, pairing your location, your service area to your industry or your niche, right? Tax preparation for small businesses in Philadelphia. That's a lot more detailed than tax service. Just putting that, right? So you want to think, um, really getting as specific as possible. If you're a bakery, maybe in your blog or in your meta descriptions on the back end, you're putting gluten-free bakery in Horsham, Montgomery County. See how that's so specific? So you really want to be optimizing it. And you can apply that again across. Next slide is social media. Also looking for that same thing. And you also want to keep your content fresh. Again, updating maybe your service page on your website, contributing to your blog, maybe adding FAQs, adding new customer testimonials, seasonal tips as we're approaching fall and winter, maybe refreshing that intro paragraph on your website. All of these search tools are loving content that appears recent and appears relevant to whatever the search is. So just sharing those tips with you. Again, no matter what you're utilizing, you want to just make sure that you're posting recent, relevant content. And if you're interested in more in AI, we're hosting that webinar in October. So we're going to pause there, take a break from the online, the website, but now we're going to focus on social media. And again, we're hearing a ton about this in marketing, and it can be really overwhelming. Like I shared that example. If you're a marketing professional, you're thinking, oh, we're halfway through the week. What did I post? So here's some tips and tools to avoid that anxiety. That comes when maybe you haven't posted recently. Again, using that recent content, you really want to set a goal, maybe posting 1 to 3 times a week. If you can post daily, awesome. But let's start with some goals to then meet and expand upon. So if you're starting a business or you have a business right now, you're focusing on social media, again, go back to your customers and what platforms are they using? Talk to your customers, ask them, what are their favorites. You don't have to be on every single platform. That can take a lot of time, and you really want to be strategic. So think about where they are. Are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? Um, are they on Pinterest? Ask how they found you, and really come up with a strategy that's going to work for you, again, to optimize your time and your efforts. Um, And it's very important. Research indicates Sprout Social found that 70% of local shoppers are discovering small businesses through social media. So it is worth researching for your business. And again, what are people searching? It's going back to that business name and location, specific products and services. They're looking at customer reviews. They're looking at your photos and your videos, and also any kind of special offers that you have. So how do you stand out on social media? Again, you want to optimize your bio and your handle. You want to use, again, high traffic hashtags. Right now, the recommendation is to fall between 3 hashtags and 7. Previously, you could post a whole paragraph of hashtags, but again, you're thinking location and industry. So for example, Philadelphia Eats, Horsham Coffee, King of Prussia Fitness. Those are just some general examples. Go through, do some research on, what's local, but also a widely used hashtag, and also post consistently. Again, it's that recent relevant content, and encourage, any of your customers to check in, tag you. If they're at your yoga studio for a class, ask them. Or if they're at your cafe, you want to encourage that because it's also helping additional users find you. So here are just some strategy tips. Again, where your clients focus on one or two platforms at first because it can be very overwhelming. And right now, the algorithms on all social media changes. You can do research on it. But for right now, it's suggesting, as opposed to in the past, it was those vanity metrics. What does that mean? Those accounts that had 1 million followers or my post had 1 million likes. The platforms are really looking at engagement. Comments on your post. Is your post being shared? Is it being saved? Are you having a lot of DM interaction, those direct messages? Now, how can you focus on that? In your captions, you're going to call for your audience to do that. So, for example, I'm sure you've seen a post that said, you want to save this for the next time you work out. Here's 5 tips for whatever your workout routine may be, right? You're going to want to save this the next time you clean your bathroom. Maybe I'm a cleaning company and I'm going to share those 5 tips for getting that done. You want to call the audience to take that action. Okay. Here's another way. If you were a florist, you could say, here's a brand new bouquet we're offering for this season. Tag someone you'd love to surprise with a surprise bouquet. Or, I'm offering a flash sale today, 15% off if you comment bloom in my comments. So think of some ways where you can call the audience to take that action and to really encourage that engagement on your platforms. And also going back to staying organized and coming up with a strategy for your content. You can utilize a calendar. Here's an example of a weekly one. You can write the date, which platform you're sharing on, what time you're going to post, the visual you're going to use, whether it's a reel, a photo carousel. Again, we really get into this content creation. Check out our YouTube page for some further information if you really just want to focus on different types of content. Um, What's your goal? What are you focusing on this month that you want to share? Are you looking to have more class members for a yoga class you're offering? Are you looking to promote your new fall menu coming up? And you want to come up with, what goals are you going to measure? So your KPIs, your key performance indicators, that you're really going to also with all of your content this month, work on that engagement and really craft those captions to encourage engagement with it. When you utilize calendars like this, it really helps you stay on track. And then you can also use, for example, Meta Business Suite. If you have Facebook or Instagram, you can schedule the posts ahead of time. Small businesses I work with, look ahead for next month. They'll take some time and in one day they'll schedule their calendar out for the next month. This way you don't have to worry about it. Your posts are scheduled. They're going to go out. It's not this everyday anxiety of, oh no, what am I going to post? You have a strategy, you know what platforms you're going to use, you know what content you're going to feature, and then at the end of the month, you can go back and analyze that data. That's the key thing here on planning your content calendar, setting the goals, and then, okay, how can we adjust? These posts did really well. Why? What was it? Because of what you were sharing? Was it that it was a reel? Something took off and had a lot of engagement? Why did that really, do well and keep doing more of that? If there's other areas to improve on, then you have that real data, within 30 days. Okay, this didn't work. Let's change up the messaging. Let's do a reel next time. Let's change up the call to action. That way you can really then pivot and utilize again your time and your investment to really optimize your social media strategy. So next, I'm going to move into visual design, branding for your company. What first comes to mind is maybe creating graphics for your social media, but you want to make sure that everything going back to your website, the menus that are in your business, flyers you're giving out, your business cards for your team or for yourself. You want to make sure that everything has a cohesive brand. And there are great tools that you can utilize. Some have free versions, maybe the next tier up are pretty affordable. Again, this isn't an all-inclusive list, not an endorsement of any product on this list. Do your own research, but here's just some examples of platforms that are out there. If you need to design menus, postcards, flyers, social media graphics, all of that. There's Canva. We have a lot of tutorials on our YouTube page that really go in depth on how to utilize these tools. There's also Adobe Express, Vista Create, many, many more. Do your research, see what the pricing is, but it's very important when you're launching your small business or you're trying to grow awareness that you're sticking to this cohesive brand. Now, what do I mean by that? That can be your logo. Is your logo one version on your website, but then a business card you're distributing has, oh, that's a previous logo. Um, you want to keep everything cohesive, and it is difficult to keep up with it, but you want to be as cohesive as possible. It builds trust and visibility as well as recognition for your clients. Um, Also think about the color schemes you're using. You want to stick to a few. Think about large brands that are easy to recognize. They're usually utilizing 1 to 2 colors, right? Think about your typography, your font that you're using. You want to use that same font on your website, on your social media graphics, on the menus within your business. Think about maybe some iconic typography that brands use. For example, think about Coca-Cola and how that's written and appears. It would be a big deal if all of a sudden, they changed that font on Coca-Cola. Think about, I'll use Target as an example, right? They have the red bullseye logo. If they changed that to another color, that would again be a big deal. But you see that and you associate it immediately with that business. You want to do the same for yours. So you want to stick to that cohesive branding across anything that's representing your business, from your business card to your website. And again, there's these tools available to help you do that. Pretty easily. If you're not going to do it, maybe someone on your team can use the platforms. And again, you can create great graphics, take that testimonial that the customer gave to you, make a nice graphic and share that on your social media, post it to your website, encourage them to share it on your Google, make everything as cohesive as possible. But just wanted to share these tools that are available. Next, we're halfway through today's presentation. I want to make sure I touch on some additional tools that are out there. So you likely receive promotional emails from some brands that you've either made purchases from or some businesses that you enjoy. So that can be an option for your business. Now, there are free and affordable email tools. You want to make sure that you are allowing your subscribers to opt in. You're not just, putting any email you have in there. You want to make sure that you're getting their consent to receive your emails. Again, not an all-inclusive list of email marketing tools, not an endorsement. Always recommended you do your own research, but here's just some examples. I've used Constant Contact in the past. They don't have a free option, but there are several tiers. It's usually based on how many email addresses you're sending to, as well as how many emails you're sending out. There's also MailChimp that has a free version. MailerLite has a free version. Again, I think it's up to how many subscribers you have. That's what it's based on. And of course, there's many more. You might use some other platform CRMs that offer email marketing tools. So I just wanted to touch on this, that it's an option for your small business. Now, what does this do? Going back to your customers, this is creating a direct communication line to your customers, right? You are building that relationship and loyalty over time. You're reminding them that you're here to help them solve that problem whenever they need it. It's a great way to share promotions, maybe events you're hosting, maybe some helpful tips. Again, fall season's coming up. You know, here's some tips. We're going back to school. If that's relevant to your small business, here's some tips. Here's how we can help you. Um, and it also just helps keep your business top of mind to repeat customers. And you can use this to really, again, test it out. How effective is my email marketing? Maybe in your next one, you're including a voucher for 15% off or a free item or something like that, as a special offer. You can then run that campaign for a month and then see at the end of September, how effective was it? Did people utilize that offer? Maybe again, you're featuring a new product that you have or a new service that you're offering. Feature it in your newsletter, track that link to your website. Um, See at the end of the month, how many new appointments did you get? How many service calls did you have for that specific offering? Those are just some ways that you can really utilize your email marketing to, again, increase that line of communication to your customers, build that loyalty. And you also want to feature different types of offers. You don't want it to always be kind of a sales pitch, but I'm sure you enjoy reading, a feature maybe on a team member. Maybe you highlight a customer who agrees to, a loyal customer. Um, Maybe you feature a new product line. Um, Maybe you're doing a collaboration with another small business. Maybe you're participating in an upcoming farmers market, or your neighborhood's having a festival and you're going to have a vendor space there, right? Again, just different ways to interact with your customers, keep your business top of mind, and really, again, continue that relationship, build that trust, and share the value that you're offering. And going back to the email marketing again, any graphics that you're putting in there, the style of it, make sure you're keeping that cohesive branding look, just so that way, again, it's just building that recognition as well. Okay, now the next ones I'm going to talk about, it's kind of stepping away from the digital, and we're going to go to some in-person opportunities that are free or low cost that, really help build your brand, even as an individual, as a small business owner, right? Especially if you're launching a business, or maybe you've been in business for a decade, but you don't have a ton of B2B local networking. Here's an opportunity where you can, again, really build those relationships, because the B2B, maybe you have an aspect of your business where you are serving B2B customers, but it never hurts to have that local network available for you as you're looking to grow your business. So again, there's a lot of in-person opportunities, networking and events. Networking can be intimidating. If you're interested, in September, we're going to be hosting a webinar about building your elevator pitch, which is, how do you pitch your business? How do you share what you do? Again, it goes back to that at the beginning, the UVP, you know, here's who I am, this is who I help, this is how I do it, this is what makes my business unique, and, visit my website for more information or to book an appointment, right? That elevator pitch that you share when people ask about your business. If you want some help with that, we have a webinar coming up. But here's just some free tools. Check out Eventbrite. There's a lot of local events happening in your area. Chamber of Commerce events are great for business networking and connections. You might also be located in an area that has a business association, whether for your township or your neighborhood. If you're in Philadelphia, you might be part of a business improvement district just based on the neighborhood that your business is in. They often host events, festivals for the public, or networking events. You might have some specific industry organizations that you could join or at least check out. There's also a ton of community events that happen now, with the fall coming around. There's lots of festivals, resource fairs, back to school events. Think strategically. if you really want to build that local network, you need to be there. So think about different options that you can take advantage of. Also, events, that's something that you can host at your business. Maybe it's an event for loyal customers, or maybe you're going to participate in something happening in your neighborhood, or town, or maybe you're hosting an open house. You're a new business, you want to have a ribbon cutting and a grand opening celebration. These are just, again, some free tools just to think about. Tip when you're going to there. If you're networking, you want to make sure that you have a business card that you can give out, QR code to your website. How can people follow up with you? Also, as a small business owner, consider having a professional LinkedIn account. One for your business, but also one for you. Because when you're making these connections, you want to make sure that, you go right back and you request to connect on LinkedIn. That's a great way to continue. Again, going back to that digital storefront 24/7, connecting on LinkedIn really builds that connection. You can see what, your other business networks are up to. What are they doing? A lot of people are sharing on LinkedIn, things that they're working on. That's a really great way to position yourself as an expert in your industry. That's a great way to build thought leadership. If you have that blog and you're sharing tips, think about, what could I then kind of repurpose on LinkedIn to position myself as an expert in your field? And it's just another great way to continue that networking and to follow up with connections you made. Um, so that's just something else to think about. And I also just want to, this is kind of our last tool tactic to use. Um, In my opinion, this is priceless. You can't put a price tag or budget item on this. It takes a lot of hard work. It is free though, if you really just go above and beyond every day, which as a small business owner you do. You live, you breathe your business, and when you can get this, I mean, it is just priceless for your marketing. Word of mouth and referrals. Research indicates 88% of consumers trust recommendations from people they know more than any other channel, any other marketing campaign you have, social media posts, billboard. If a friend or family member tells them about a business, that is really going to build that trust that they're going to check out your business and hopefully end in a sale for you. So what can you do to build that? Again, that goes through everything. A phone call they had when they called, your business. Again, going back to that emergency, my roof is leaking. I called this company. They couldn't have been nicer. They came right out within the hour. They on a weekend. They offered a fair price. The person that did the repair was, great. Think about all of that customer experience and how you're building that trust and the credibility. Think about an online sale. I can think about, I bought from a small business. They included a little, handwritten card that said, "Thank you for your purchase. Thank you for supporting a small business." I never forgot that. And that meant so much to me. And again, when I was, referring that business, in conversation to friends about that. So think about, those little personal touch points that you can add for your business, for your customer experience, for your user engagement. Those are all things that are, outside of the digital realm that come in that in-person building, right? That you share. So again, if you can have a customer then turn into a, an ambassador for your business, that is everything. And it's really building that trust and that recommendation funnel to your business. So what can you do as a business owner? Again, going back to asking for testimonials, if they can give you a sentence or two, um, whether they can submit it right through your website, they can leave a Google review, they can comment on your social media, they can send you a quote in an email that you're, permitted to use for promotional purposes. That's everything. You can ask, especially at the beginning of stages, if you're just launching your business, ask friends and family, give me a Google review or something like that. Encourage reviews online. Again, providing that extra customer service, that's how you can really beat out your competitors. It's the everyday experience that your customers are having. Um, Adding that personal touch with every customer engagement. And again, asking for the Google reviews and the testimonials to repurpose on your social media. And really, your happy customers are your most powerful marketers to really promote your business. So if you can really, encourage that, maybe that's a campaign and a goal that you're going to run in the next 30 days. I'm going to try to get 5 new testimonials. If you have that marketing e-newsletter, maybe you put it in there, would really appreciate, show your small business support. Here's a link to my Google business profile. Would appreciate, if you left one there. Make sure you're thanking customers. If they leave a really nice Facebook review, and thank them for that. Acknowledge that. Don't take it for granted. They don't have to do that for you. So really thank them. Maybe you can feature them, send them a DM and say, could I feature you in a customer spotlight? People, majority, now times like that. And make sure you're thanking them. And then encourage them to leave reviews on Google, Facebook, whatever you're utilizing. And, if they're really open to it, if you have a video testimonial, that really performs, great. If it's like a 30-second, kind of like a selfie style testimonial, or like, here is, after, a visit at the salon, here's, my new look, this is what I really enjoyed. That is also something that you can use for your social media content. And again, gives, that real life glimpse on the customer experience for your business. So those were just some of the cost-effective tools available, strategies available for marketing your business. I just want to close today on the importance of whatever you're going to do for your small business. Make sure you're gathering data and analytics so this way you can really measure the impact. Why does it matter? Seems like a lot. I know as a small business owner, you're doing many things, wearing many hats, have a lot of responsibilities. But if you can just set aside 20 minutes, maybe it's the last day of the month, whatever works for you, and you want to track any data that you can collect. So what is it? It can be any social media. It does on the back end, you're able to see the success of your post, right? How many times was it shared, engaged with? A lot of the social media offer that platform. If you're utilizing email marketing, any tool should be able to share what's your open rate? How many emails do you send? What links are subscribers clicking to? If you have a website, either the specific platform should have analytics, whether it's Squarespace, Wix. If you I didn't have a chance, I wanted to make a note here. If you integrate Google Analytics, GA4, onto your website, that'll really give you a ton of data on what are customers searching, where are they located, what pages are they going, are they going from your homepage to your services and then dropping off, leaving, what's kind of like their experience through going through your website. That'll give you a lot of data and analytics. So what's the purpose of collecting it? You're able to see what is performing well and then what to focus on to bring you that result. Most importantly, saving your time and your money, but it really helps with your goal setting. And again, I would suggest, especially for a small business, think about it in 31-day plans. Here's my strategy. I really want to focus on this goal. These are the specific tactics, the specific steps I'm going to take to achieve it. But then at the end of the month, again, go back through that data. I attended 2 networking events. I collected 10 business cards, and I set up 4 phone calls, coffee chats with new business connections, right? That's data. Even if it's an Excel sheet and you're, just typing that information in, then maybe next month, I'm going to go to 3 events and my goal is to schedule, 6 in-person meetings from my efforts, from my time. different ways, no matter what you're doing, that you're gathering that data and those analytics to build your marketing. So I hope that this was helpful for today. Again, in a lot of our previously recorded courses, you can connect with us, go to our YouTube. You'll find a lot of resources there. Sign up for our newsletter if you'd like to. We also share a lot of resources and tools that way. And we're also on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn as well. I do just want to check out the chat. So glad that you were able to join. I'm going to just quick see if I can just answer some of the questions in the chat. Um, are there any artists that had a good business or marketing model to study? Of my current clients or small businesses in the past that I've worked with, I don't have a specific example to share. Artists that want to be do it yourself but collaborate with other businesses and other entities. For sure, collaborations with other businesses and partners is always great with strengthening your small business, building your network, and might be a great way to really collaborate. Depending on what the agreement is, if you can, help out one another or collaborate on an event or a product. Of course, it's always great to build those connections. What is more important when it comes to marketing today? Just want to make sure content, community, both. Definitely having a great mix of all of it, whether it is digital, that's it's here. Let's take advantage of it. Again, have as much knowledge as you can so you can make the right decision for your own business. Also, you can't put a price tag on those in-person connections, that loyalty that you're building with your customers, to have that B2B network around you within your local community or within your business industry, again, is also invaluable. You never know, when that can really come through for whether it's potential business, partnerships, collaborations. So definitely considering all different channels. I hope that this was helpful. If you were new and not had customers yet, what are the recommended social media starts? Sure, great question. If you don't have customers yet, again, focus on 1 to 2 channels and think about how would your potential customers, your ideal, so it's kind of not analyzing your current customers, but like who do you really feel that your service is benefiting, your product is benefiting. Really think about their age, kind of their lifestyle. Are they using mobile appointments? If you're a service based and they want to make an appointment online, think about how are you offering that. Do they want to pick up the phone and talk to someone? Also think about that as well. Really depends on your specific business. And also on social media, again, go back to those target audiences, your ideal clients, and think about how would they find you. Are you more in a professional space, B2B, where a LinkedIn is where you're going to get a lot of those visits? Are you on Facebook, where maybe it's great to build a broad community? You're hosting a lot of events, that has a great event platform. Are you a product based, maybe a younger demographic where Instagram is really going to help you? So really think about, again, going back to those customers, even if you don't have any, who are your ideal? What do you think they're utilizing? And then go from there. But it's certainly not something where now I have to have 5 platforms and you're utilizing a lot of your time and your resources. Um, and I know we're coming to a close. Um, and see, is there a text version of MailChimp? I'm going to assume uh, if you mean sending text messages, um, you might have, and maybe I'm I think that that's what the question is about. Some of these email marketing platforms or other CRM platforms do have the capability to send text messaging. You might receive some. Um, it is an option. It can be a bit costly. The last time I checked, you are charged per text message you send. So again, it's a tool out there. I don't know the pricing on it with specific platforms. And you do have to get, again, permission opt-in from any person you're going to be sending these text messages to. So again, do your research on that. But I do believe that it can become costly depending on if you're texting thousands of people. From my understanding, that it can be folded into some platforms, CRMs you're utilizing. It might be an option. There might be additional costs per message you send. Um, Um, and I do just want to, the last question I'll take if you have a few minutes, do I have any advice for a mobile bartending business? Sure. Again, go back to that market research in the beginning. Who, if you haven't launched yet, would be your ideal customer. Really spend time on that. There's a lot of free resources online. Also, check out. You might say, I haven't been to a library in a while. Libraries have great research tools. You just need a library card, usually depending on that can be a free service. Look into demo information, demographics, what's happening in that industry. Again, where should you focus your efforts on? Goes back to that customer. Are they going to find you online? Are they going to find you at specific trade events or different events in the community or within the industry? Again, find, what's really making your business unique from competitors. If you're something new in the market, you might want to just ask a little bit more. If you don't have existing customers right now, talk to your network, family, friends, really get as much information as you can. Find out and really come up with that messaging you're offering. Again, how are you solving this problem that your ideal customer has? That's when you focus on which channels. I'm going to spend a lot of time in-person networking within my specific industry, or I'm going to launch a digital campaign on Instagram because I think my customers are mostly finding me through that way. I want to be online, so I want to look at my web presence, utilizing tools available, and really coming up with that. Again, goal setting, being specific, coming up with your data, and then analyzing it as much as possible. And again, if you would like to work with any of our business consultants, reach out to us on our website, check out our YouTube page, and hope that this was helpful for everyone. So thank you so much for joining us today. Taya, wasn't sure if I missed any questions or if now's a good time to end the presentation.
There were a few other questions. One is, are there any artists that you will say had a good business? Oh, actually, that was answered in the chat. So it was transferred over to the chat. So all good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.